So Monday night sees the return of Premier League action for Newcastle United as they take the trip down to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea. It's going to be a very interesting game, this, because I think Chelsea is still in transition, trying to get their new signings all clicking on the same hymn sheet and things like that. Whereas Newcastle are coming off the back of a fantastic performance against Southampton in the second half. Backs to the wall stuff, defended like lions, and that can only give the team much more confidence. Formation-wise, I want to stick with a 4-3-3, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit, and I'll explain that just shortly. So let's have a look at the game. Let's see where this game can be won and lost for the Toon Army. Hi there, welcome back everybody. My name's Paul. Thank you for tuning into the Toon Review YouTube channel, where we are previewing Monday night's 8 p.m. kickoff in the Premier League between Chelsea and Newcastle United. And like I said in the intro, Chelsea are in a bit of a transition at the minute. They've changed the manager recently, obviously with the sacking of Frank Lampard. Thomas Tuchel has come in, still trying to work on the team, still trying to put his tactics into fruition down there. I watched them against Sheffield United. I have to say I wasn't that impressed. They scored a lovely goal. Werner pulling it back for Mason Mount. A comical own goal. And they end up winning it with a controversial penalty in my eyes. However, they won the game. For us, we are going into it on a high, because, you know, that confidence must be sky high in the team at the minute after the performance against Southampton. Real backs to the wall stuff in the second half. Team spirit will have been lifted by that. Every man on that pitch fought for each other. And what we've been asking for a long time now is fighting for the shirt. Showing some blood, sweat and tears to come out on top. And boy, did they do that against Southampton. I'm still buzzing from that performance. It was fantastic. It was real sort of bite your nails time, but we came through it, and we came through it with flying colours. Now, for me, like I said in the intro, I want to stick with a 4-3-3. I know some people have said 4-2-3-1, but I don't believe we've got the players to do that at the minute. So, if you look at Chelsea, on the other hand, you know, like I've said, they've got a back line that we can get at. Azpilicueta's lost a yard of pace. Rudiger's all over the place at the minute, hence the comical own goal against Sheffield United. Left back, I'm not sure. Alonso sometimes plays there. They've got a couple of decent players to go in at left back. Centre back, alongside Rudiger, they can either play Christensen or Thiago Silva. For me, Thiago Silva and Christensen should be the back two. Because I think Rudiger's just a liability at the minute. However, moving forward, you know, they've bought some players over the summer who are still trying to sort of get used to the pace of the Premier League, get used to the physicality of it all. Timo Werner has struggled, there's no doubt about that. I watch a lot of Bundesliga, and he's fantastic for Leipzig, and I thought he would come into the Premier League and do a really good job this season. However, it's taken him a little bit longer. Do I think he'll come good? Of course I do. You know, class players do not lose that. They just have to adjust to the league. We've seen players come into this league in the past who've taken a season to get going, and I believe Werner will turn out a good buy for Chelsea. They've got Havertz in midfield as well. Again, he's just taking his time to get used to the Premier League and the physicality. Certainly playing in midfield, you've got a very tough role there in the Premier League. You don't get a lot of time on the ball. You've got to be switched on, and I just think it's taken him a bit longer than expected. Ziyech, fantastic player for me. He can whip a ball in, no problem at all. Take players on. He's a marvellous player, Ziyech. I really do like him. They've got so many other players that can hurt you. And that's why I think we have to be switched on from the word go on Monday night. No silly lapses in concentration like we have done in previous games. You know, yes, we've played decently, but we've also had that lapse in concentration, which has led to the opposition scoring goals. And we can't let that happen against Chelsea, because they will hurt us. So, you know, we've got to cut out the silly tackling. We've got to cut out the little errors, passing the ball to the opposition, letting them break. You know, just keep switched on. And I do believe we'll get something from this game. So, player-wise and formation-wise, like I said, I'm going with a 4-3-3, but with a little tweak. Obviously, goalkeeper-wise, it's either Darlow or Dubravka. For me, Dubravka should start now. I think Darlow has Looked a bit flappy in previous games. You know, when he's coming for crosses, he's punching all the time. He's not really confident catching the ball. And I think that's where he puts the defenders at a bit of unrest, because they're not sure when he comes for the ball if he's going to flap at it. They've got to be 100% switched on because the ball is dropping at the feet and strikers are there. You know, especially Chelsea strikers, they will punish you for errors like that. So I'd rather see Dubravka there because he leads by example. He's very vocal and he gives the defenders confidence that when he comes for the ball, he's going to catch it. Right back for me, it's got to be Emil Kraft. Now, this is where, you know, I'll come on to at the end talking about the transfer window biting us in the arse, but we've now only got Emil Kraft as a right back. Steve Bruce confirmed in his press conference that Manquillo was out for 6 to 8 weeks. A massive blow for me because Manquillo is by far and away the best right back we've got at the club, and we may suffer because we've got to put Emil Kraft there. Now, we know that there's a couple of players that can maybe come in and fill that job. Kieran Clark can move across to right back. He's played there in the past, but he's really a centre back. Jacob Murphy's played at right back a few times, but we know he's a right winger. He's not a right back. You know, that second goal against Leeds proved that. He was just floating into the box. He wasn't picking up Harrison, and we conceded a goal from it. So Emil Kraft, don't get me wrong, put in a shift in the second half. Fantastic against Southampton. Kept them at bay. Put his body on the line. But when he came on in the first half, when it was all evened up, he missed a few tackles. He got booked. He just didn't look very good at all. So my worry is definitely right back, without a shadow of a doubt. Left back, I continue with Lewis. I think the kid will have gained a lot of confidence from that win against Southampton. Positionally wise, he was a lot better in the second half when we really needed him to be switched on. So I think that can only do his confidence the world of good. So I'd stick with Lewis. Moving into the middle, obviously we know that Shah's now out for 6 to 8 weeks as well. I have a feeling it could be a bit longer for Fabian Schär because that is a nasty injury he's got. Steve Bruce has quoted 6 to 8 weeks on that. I'm not so sure we'll see him back this season. And of course he's out of contract in the summer, so we may not see him back at all. He said that Lascelles is in with a shout. Fernandez is in with a shout. Clark will play because obviously, you know, the birth of his child last week. So again, congratulations to him. But Kieran Clark and Fernandez should be the back two for me. Lascelles doesn't fill me with confidence. He hasn't done for a long time now. I'm not bothered that he's captain. I couldn't give a shit that he's captain. You know, this is Newcastle United and we have to do what's best for the club. And for me, Fernandez starts with Clark. They are much, much better together than Lascelles with an other. Moving into the midfield. Now, what I'd do is I'd play Isaac Hayden just in front of the back four as a defensive midfielder to win the ball back and give the defenders some help. Not as a back five. Absolutely no chance. What I want to see is Hayden sitting as the defensive midfielder and winning the ball, getting the ball to the next two midfielders who I think should be Shelvey and Willock. Now, I know Shelvey's come in for a lot of criticism lately, and rightly so. He needs to pull his finger out a bit more. He shouldn't be captain. We know that because he's not captain material. He doesn't lead by example on the pitch for me. Isaac Hayden should be the captain all day long, but we know that's not going to happen. Shelvey will probably get the captaincy if Lascelles doesn't play again. But I think if Isaac Hayden can win that ball, give it to the likes of Willock and Hayden, and then push it onto the front three, we can get something from this game. Now, the front three, this may be a bit controversial for people, but I wouldn't play Gale, and I wouldn't play Joe Linton, and I'm not playing Andy Carroll either. I'm going with Fraser on the right, St Maximin on the left, and Miggy through the middle as a number 10 false 9. I believe he can play that role perfectly well. There's no reason why he can't. He's a fantastic number 10, and I don't think Miggy would mind that position either. It will give him the opportunities to score goals. Now, I know we haven't got an out-and-out striker on the pitch, but you've got to remember we've got Willock in the team now, who's a box-to-box midfielder who will get into the box when the balls are there. You know, he proved that against Southampton. You know, he told ASM to pull the ball back, and he'll be there. And he was. And that's the type of midfield that we've been missing for a long, long time now. Somebody that's willing to bust a gut to get in the box when we're on the attack. So, in theory, we can use Willock to get forward as well. Shelvey just hold back a little bit with Hayden, and I believe we can hurt Chelsea. We've got pace in that front three, which Chelsea do not like. ASM's got pace, Fraser's got pace, and don't forget, they can both cut in and have a shot. So it's not all about just delivering balls into Miggy. It doesn't work like that. Miggy will work as Miggy works. You know, but when we're talking about getting shots in on goal, Fraser and ASM can cut in every minute of the day and have shots. But it's how they shoot, and it's how well we develop that formation. But I believe Willock is a big key to this game, getting forward. So impressed with his debut. It is only one game, remember. Let's not forget that. He's not the Messiah yet. But I believe that if he plays the way he did against Southampton in the first half, by getting forward into the box, he can hurt Chelsea. And I believe with that kind of pace, we can get at them. People may laugh at that, but I genuinely believe Dwight Gale, for me, is a championship striker. Some people disagree with that, but I've always said that all along. If you look at his stats, Dwight Gale has always performed better in the Championship than the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. Joe Linton, for me, is like playing with a man down. And Andy Carroll, probably more of an impact sub if we need him in the second half. But for me, I truly believe that formation and those players can get a result at Chelsea. But it's how well the back line keeps switched on. The likes of Jamal Lewis, Kraft, they've all got to stay switched on. They've got to time the tackles well. They've got to keep switched on to players running around the back. Because let's forget, if Abraham starts or Giroud, they are very, very clever players. Abraham can use his pace. Giroud uses his mentality to know where the ball's going to end up in the box. He's fantastic at doing that. And I think over the years, Olivier Giroud is one of the most underrated strikers that has ever been in the Premier League. I think he's a fantastic player. Yes, he's come at the end of his career now, but I genuinely believe he is a fantastic striker, and we've got to be aware of them. They've got so many options, Chelsea, coming forward, which is why I want to see Hayden just drop back slightly from Shelvey and Willock so he can cover the back four and we can nullify any Chelsea attack. But it's all about mentality. It's how well we stay switched on through the game. We know in previous games that we switched off for those couple of seconds and it's conceded us goals. Against the likes of Chelsea, we can't afford to do that because they have the players that will hurt us and hurt us badly. But going the other way, we can also hurt Chelsea badly. So for me, I'm going for a radical prediction here. You may disagree with us again, but I'm feeling positive. I really am. So I'm going a 2-1 Newcastle United win. I think we'll go down there and we'll surprise Chelsea. Don't give them much respect. Let them see a big surprise in us coming at them. Because they'll probably expect us to sit behind the ball like we have done when we've gone to the other big clubs this season. You know, they'll be expecting us to let them have the ball and try and catch them on the counter-attack. Let's just flip that round a little bit and do what we've done in the last few games and go on the front foot. Let's surprise these teams. Because there's a lot of teams out there think, oh, it's only Newcastle United. Let's put that right. Let's give these teams something to think about. Rather than just sitting back taking up the arse for 90 minutes. It doesn't work. And it's certainly not going to work against Chelsea. So there you have it. I'm going for a 2-1 win. Now, injury-wise, you know, obviously he's come out and said Callum Wilson's out for 6 to 8 weeks as well. And like I said earlier, this is where the transfer window has bitten us in the arse, well and truly. Because we let Yedlin go to Galatasaray, we didn't bring in another right back to cover, and we're left with Emil Kraft, who we all know has been struggling this season. Now, who knows? With a good run of games, Emil Kraft may well come good. You know, pace of the Premier League, he may get used to it. But at the minute, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Up front, like I've said, I've explained about Dwight Gale. That's nothing against him. That's just how I feel. Joe Linton's not good enough. Andy Carroll is more of an impact sub coming to the end of his career. What I would have done is, you know, we know Fulham, etc. are interested in Dwight Gale. Why not send him off on loan for the rest of the season and maybe try and get a loan deal like Divock Origi, who could have come in. He doesn't get many games for Liverpool. I'm sure he would have been, you know, happy to come, depending on the wages. But we all know about Mike Ashley and wages. But someone like that to play either alongside Callum Wilson or as an impact player when he's injured. And now we're left with 3 players who I don't believe are good enough to step into Callum Wilson's shoes. And that is a major, major problem. So I do think that our lack of activity in the transfer market in January has now come back to bite us in the arse well and truly. But it's happened. We have to stay positive. You know, you can't do anything about injuries now. We are where we are. We need to go out and perform for the rest of the season and show the fans that, you know, the players are really wanting to do well and move up the table. Because we've only got the league. We can only finish as high as we can. So heads down, buckle up for the rest of the season and do a job for the fans. That's all we ask. And they've been doing that lately, to be fair. So we may see that again at Chelsea. I really do hope so. So, like I say, I'm going for a 2-1 win. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you agree with my prediction or you agree with the formation. the team lineup. Who would you take out of that team and put in? What formation would you go for against Chelsea? And what do you think will be the final score? I do reply to all the comments, so do throw them in there. I enjoy reading them. I enjoy getting your feedback. And thank you very much for all your kind compliments on the channel. It really does mean the world to me. So if you've enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button. It does help me build the channel. If you're new and you enjoy what you've seen, lots of football on here, lots of live streams. Brilliant show on a Monday night with the 4 Horsemen, which, by the way, will be Tuesday night next week because obviously we're in action on Monday night. It's 8 p.m. on Tuesday night, but I'll put a link in my Twitter feed for that as well. If you're watching this afternoon, I'm on live tonight on Thursday Night Live with Holly Blades, so do tune in for that one. Or if you're watching this after Thursday night, then watch the rerun of it. I'm sure it'll be a brilliant show. Again, thank you to everybody for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully on Monday night we can get 3 points. How are the lads? Let's do it again. Take care.
Be strong. Be strong.